did it, guys. The time has come. It's time to review Sonic the Hedgehog. Whew, what a journey it has been. How many videos have I made on this movie already? Like 3? But from design after design, trailer after trailer, date after date, the time has come to see my hero on the big screen, and what did I think of it? It's complicated because I have to split my feelings into 2 different ways. As a regular movie, and as a Sonic movie. Because one side of me, the Sonic fan, has very different expectations compared to the other side of me, which looks at movies more critically. So how about we get the boring stuff out of the way first? What did I think about this film just as a movie? It's alright. It doesn't break any new ground and the cinematography is still very bland and uninspired, but it does follow the tried and true story beats to deliver a satisfying story. The humor worked far better than I expected, the occasional fart jokes aside, and the actors did a fantastic job getting to their characters. I hated nobody in this movie. I dreaded Tom the Cop so much when he was announced, but I actually quite liked him. Everything snaps into place, and it works. You got a perfectly enjoyable movie on your hands. Obviously, don't expect an Oscar contender, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, that's the boring stuff out of the way. So, what did the Sonic fan in me think? I love this movie, 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 I love this movie! This is probably one of the most important movies I have ever seen in my life. No, I'm not joking, I'm not being ironic. How else am I supposed to think this is a Sonic the Hedgehog movie? I've been waiting for this moment since I was like 6 years old. This is why I was so hung up about the design, because I wanted to see my Sonic on the screen, not whatever abomination that was the original. Furthermore, I was afraid that the Sonic movie wasn't actually going to be a Sonic movie. And I know that sounds stupid because, I mean, look at the poster, that's the name of the movie, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. But you need some context here. I brought it up before, and I'm going to bring it up again. Adaptations of old properties where the characters go into our world, it usually doesn't focus on the title characters. The Smurfs wasn't about the Smurfs. Fat Albert wasn't about Fat Albert. The Garfield movie, you know what, that actually was about Garfield. It's usually about some average Joe we're not gonna care about, with the characters we actually do want to see in the sidelines. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle actively made fun of this cliche, and thus it works. In Alvin and the Chipmunks, Dave was always important to the franchise since its inception, so his inclusion and his focus make sense. So what does Sonic the Hedgehog do? It actually does neither. It does something pretty unprecedented. It decided to make Sonic, now hear me out here, the main character. This movie isn't James Marsden co-starring Sonic the Hedgehog, it's Sonic the Hedgehog co-starring James Marsden. Yes, that's all I wanted. Not even Sonic X does that right. Most of the show is about Chris, and Sonic just shows up whenever it's convenient for him. Another comparison I should point out is Sonic's characterization, because this actually surprises me. I actually think Sonic in this movie is better characterized than any Sonic ever made. The only 2 Sonics that'll possibly rival him is Sonic and Unleashed and Sonic and the Black Knight, because they are the only times in recent years that Sonic actually had any nuance or depth to his personality. Wait, what do you mean these games came out 10 years ago? Man, I'm old. Sega has had this mandate for quite a long time now, ever since the Archie comics made Sonic a freaking soap opera, that Sonic should not experience any extreme emotions. He can't get too mad, he can't get too sad, he can't even get too happy, and that's boring and not at all human. They want to make Sonic as he was in the 90s. Carefree, big ego, goes fast. And aside from Tails, he doesn't really stick around with people. They just sort of slow him down, so he just runs off on his own. And I don't know about you guys, but making a Sonic that doesn't grow is not inherently compelling. How would you feel if Batman was always like the Adam West Show? We wouldn't get versions like Bale, or Affleck, or even Arnett. And I think director Jeff Fowler knows that very well, because he decides to take everything we knew about Sonic for the past 20 or so years and make a completely new twist on it that still works. He's got the ego, the confidence, the attitude, the speed that we know from Sonic, but then adds in a lot more depth to his character. One thing is that they made him curious and childish, but not stupid to the world around him. He's been on Earth for quite a long time now. He knows our culture, he knows our customs, and he knows our technology. Which means we don't get one of those stupid cliches that we keep on getting from these Smurf-type movies. You know, those scenes that are like, oh, what's an iPhone? What's a DVD? That kind of crap. Sonic already knows what these are, so the movie wisely uses that free time for character development and not cheap laughs. And lastly, they add in this trait that he's lonely. Sure, people can say that that's not at all in character with who Sonic is, considering he loves running alone, but I think that trait needs to die. It has gotten old, and I'm all for this. I'm actually feeling for Sonic. The movie's finally making him feel emotions that Sega is usually afraid of. Coupled with the great animation and Ben Schwartz's fantastic performance, this is the best Sonic has ever been. This is what upgrades the movie from what I said was decent to being great. This is the Sonic I want, and I hope Sega takes notes. I feel like I'm missing something though. Oh right, Dr. Eggman. What can I say about Jim Carrey? He's the perfect choice for playing Dr. Robotnik. His eccentric acting that you can claim that is way too much like Jim Carrey and way less like Eggman, honestly I think works so well. He never ceases to make you laugh, but the only thing I wish is that he and Sonic had more screen time together. This is supposed to be the birth of their rivalry, yet you don't really see them interact that much until the end. But yeah, that was the Sonic movie. Is it the ideal movie I've always wanted? No. I still wish we got a plot that was more like the actual games and was more inspired. But when it comes to using that story of a character going into our world, this is the best way it could have been done. It not only surpassed all my expectations, but serves as a stepping stone for what could be an ideal movie in our future. And judging from the box office, this surely is going to be a future for him. I couldn't be more happier with this franchise right now. I feel like we're entering a new Sonic renaissance that we haven't seen since the 90s. And that, most of all, is what makes this movie awesome.